Do you ever wonder to yourself, I wonder what rank in the army Freddy Fazbear would be? No, probably not. I don't even know if FNAF fans will click on this. It's a stupid April Fool's joke. Hi FNAF fans, today I'm going to attempt to answer the most pressing question in the FNAF lore. Should Freddy Fazbear's Pizza really be General Fazbear's First Corps headquarters? Well, before I answer that, I feel obligated to share my experiences with FNAF first. I have not opened FNAF 1 in 11 years, which is probably older than some of you watching, and I pretty much stopped paying attention to the games and fandom entirely by the time Sister Location came out. So that is all to say, I don't know anything about modern FNAF. I've tried a few times to watch videos and get caught up, but honestly, the lore is so nonsensical, I legitimately can't understand diddly squat. But fortunately, none of that'll matter today, because I'm only accounting for FNAF 1, and in the stupidest way possible, and oh my god, this video's not gonna get any views. So, before we determine the ranks of the animatronics, we're gonna have to examine their behaviors in-game. Starting at the lowest on the totem pole, I'm actually gonna place Chica, and no, it's not because I hate women. All things considered, Chica really doesn't do much special in FNAF 1. She goes from the stage to the kitchen and to your office door and jumps you. There's no special behaviors attached to her, and she only becomes aggressive as those around her do. So, Chica is definitely a private first class. To the viewers here who've never served a day in your life, which seeing as this is FNAF, I'll assume it's 99% of you, you're probably wondering what the hell a PFC is and why it's different from a private. Well, don't worry, whilst I never served in the army, I got a 70 on my ASVAB, so that makes me 100% allowed to bully the army and about 30% eligible to educate you on the army. Basically, a private is exactly what you imagine it is, bottom of the barrel, newest guy, they just take orders and not much more. A PFC on the other hand does those exact same things, only they get paid more and have been in service for about a year. And Chica is absolutely competent enough to kill you and decimate your power, so she's definitely not fresh out of animatronic boot camp or 11 Bravo MOS school. So for that reason, I think settling with her being a PFC is a safe bet. Next up on the hierarchy, I'm actually going to place Foxy as a specialist. A specialist is the next rank after PFC, and this rank is for soldiers who have been around long enough to do their role proficiently, but they also can't be bothered to lead, so they don't become corporals. Foxy's behavior in the game is straightforward. He waits for you to ignore him long enough, then he darts at your office and kills you. Foxy is clearly trusted enough by his leadership to take on this specific task without much oversight. He's been in the army a couple years by now, he's got this night guard murder thing down pat, and he don't need to take your shit. Easy specialist. Now, on to Bonnie. Examining his behavior, he's actually the first animatronic to become active in the game, even on night 1. Right from the get-go, we're seeing initiative from him, and that means Foxy and Chica are likely following off of his lead in the field. So undoubtedly, Bonnie is an NCO who's been around long enough he can lead the animatronics to victory on the battlefield, so logically this should make him a corporal given what I said earlier, right? Well, this is where the video hits a snag. See, corporals are in a really weird spot in the US Army. They're actually the same pay grade as specialists, but the difference is they're NCOs, which means on paper they have leadership responsibilities. However, talking to some army friends and going through army subreddits, the consensus on corporals is either they're useless and not used effectively, or they do the same thing as a sergeant does but for less money. So, okay then, that makes Bonnie a sergeant, right? Well again, no, it's not that simple. See, in the US, going off the Department of War's own website, the basic unit structure of the army works like this. A team is comprised of 4 soldiers, which is led by a sergeant, and a squad is 16 soldiers led by a staff sergeant. In case you forgot, there are only 4 animatronics, which makes this a perfect team formation. The only issue is, if Bonnie's a sergeant, then what does that leave Freddy with? An officer, you may assume, but that can't be possible because we'd need roughly 40 animatronics to form a platoon for a lieutenant to lead. And it'd be even more if Freddy was a captain leading a company. And Freddy definitely can't be a major or any form of colonel or general because those guys are stuck in offices doing desk jockey work 99% of the time. So we have two options. One, I can just make Bonnie a corporal and assume the animatronic army has a competent use for him, or two, we can just take creative liberties and make Bonnie a sergeant and have Freddy be a lieutenant. I'm gonna go with the former because it's simply easier. The only potential way to have the latter make sense is if we assume the animatronics are special forces, but that would mean I'd have to uproot this entire video and start over because the lowest an SF operative can be is a sergeant. But they're usually staff sergeants and above, and even so, this choice would still make it very unlikely for Freddy to be a lieutenant or captain. So it's settled. Bonnie is a corporal who takes the first initiative in the field and ensures that Chica and Foxy maintain standards. Freddy will be a sergeant, the next rank after corporal. This makes Freddy the team leader. His goal is to ensure his soldiers not only make it home, but that their ultimate mission from command is completed. He is a leader, an experienced soldier, and most importantly, he's an extremely competent combatant who has been in the army for roughly 5-ish years. And lastly, don't think I forgot him, we have Golden Freddy. He cannot be anything more than a warrant officer. What's a warrant officer? Nobody actually knows what they do. They are incredibly rare. In fact, I think I've only ever met one in my life, but according to legend, warrant officers are technical experts in a given field and they do hyper-specialized assignments. Now that said, the most common place you'll find a warrant officer is actually helicopter pilots, but that's out of the animatronic army's budget, so that's not gonna matter. What does matter to us is they can be placed in teams and lead them if there's something specifically requiring it. Golden Freddy is not only rare, but he also crashes your game in the moment he does act, and if that isn't a specialized role, I don't know what is. On top of this, given the lack of officer leadership within the ranks of the animatronics here, Golden Freddy would provide that critical mission infrastructure that allows the soldiers to succeed. So taking this all into account, let's culminate it into a story. Night 1 sees the Night Guard infiltrate into the animatronics firebase. Hearing the commotion and with enemy comms being monitored, Bonnie takes the lead and scouts ahead. Taking note of the enemy and his position, he reports back to Sergeant Freddy, who then relays the findings to his nearest relevant command, that being Warrant Officer 1 Golden Freddy. Most of Night 1 is spent by Golden Freddy assessing the threat and with Freddy formulating a plan to dispatch of the intruder. Come Night 2, Freddy sends out Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy to encircle the intruder and kill him in need be, also whilst keeping communication with Golden Freddy. Bonnie, wanting to get a sense for his enemy, keeps their advances slow, with Foxy examining the situation closely to get a feel for the Night Guard's weaknesses so he knows when best to attack. By Night 3, the Night Guard is still firmly holding his position with no signs of retreat, and with the animatronics now having a feel for the enemy, they begin to launch the attack. As would be expected from an army with no guns, success is not always imminent, so the Night Guard survives. The rest of the night see the animatronics pressing their attacks with more and more ferocity, however, it's to no avail. Warrant Officer 1 Golden Freddy could step in, but he's too busy being in the land of pixie dust and rainbow dash jars. Yeah, let's see how many of you are old enough to get that reference. So canonically, he will not appear to decimate the enemy. With no other hope and the Night Guard presumably surviving the full week, the animatronics will have to retreat and cede their salient to Jeremy. A hard-won victory for him, as now he will collect his military pay for accomplishing such a feat. And with that, this video is over. It was a stupid April Fool's joke, and the odds I continue this very, very out of place series for my channel is extremely low, but I hope you enjoyed it anyways.